they were all for keeping the slaves. The entire economy of the South was hinged and pinned on the slaves, the presence of the slaves, on their work, the work that we did. Just like in any economy across the world, the economy that the slaves provided the world is there's no commodity on earth that can rival it. No oil, no gas, no diamonds, nothing. Right? Slave labor till this date is the most valuable commodity traded, is the most valuable possession owned. All right? Is the most valuable possession owned on the earth by these by the European nations, and after the European nations, by the other nations that serve under the Europeans or the white man that he put in place over the top of us. You get it? So now you have that's the backdrop of it. That's the scenario of it. All right. You were asking that because of what was going on in the news?
Yes, kind of. So, Caesar race was going on happen up there in the States.
Okay, that's what people saying?
Yeah, and from seeing things, I could see that, you know. I think that they actually saw there was drawing up on the black statues, you know, using the nigger word on the black statues, and you know, so it's like.
Okay, now for sure, people in the world is going to think that people in the world are they going to receive it as, wow, race war is about to happen. Race war is about to happen. As a man in the truth, you have to be a little bit wiser to know that we already at war. You get the point? Like we already at war. Like people in the world, of course, people in the world only respond to something when white people validate it. You understand? So a few months ago, you were trying to explain to brothers and sisters down there that the white man is the devil, right?
Right.
And what did they say to you?
They'll be like, nah, that's not true, man. You know that.
Right. And what they say now?
Yeah. Well, they still won't see the devil, but they will watch it like, wow, he's really. They are racist, you know. They'll watch it like he's a racist, you know. Yeah.
Right. They're gonna watch it like he's a racist. They'll only say he's the devil when the white man push a gun in their mouth and ask them if they have any last words. And still then, they might still say he's not the devil. You get the point? They might still say, well, you possessed, something wrong with you. You know what I mean? It's not you, it's Satan in you or something like that. You get the point? So people in the world only understand things when the white man validates it. We have already been at war. The problem is we the only ones in a war that don't even know we are at war. It's like you play in a football game or a basketball game. You on the court, you have on the uniform, but you don't even know a game going on. You on the court, you know what I mean, chilling, walking around, talking to the girls, you know what I mean, drinking, doing whatever, and the other team is scoring points, just running over each other and scoring points. You understand? So that's what it is with us as a people. We really don't understand that we are at war, seriously at war with the white man as a people. You understand? And we've been at war since slavery. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've been at war for 400 years. You know what I mean? For the last 400 years. And there's no other way to look at it. We've always been at war. So now when you see that people are saying these things, you know what I mean? of course, in one sense, they are right to look at it like, okay, there's, you know, a race war is going to happen. In one sense, they are right in terms of there's something escalating here. But you have to look at it in another way of why is, okay, they're saying a race war is about to happen. What's the reason they're saying a race war is about to happen in Trinidad?
Because of the violence that's seen taking place. Because the violence that's seen taking
okay, but
place.
they wasn't saying that all the time.
Well, they must be seeing it at a high level now, so probably, you know, with the guy who run the car into the crowd, and
okay, but
you know, probably,
the guy who run the car into the crowd is a white man. The crowd was white. So how is that translate into a race war?
Right. Well, again, on the statues, they were showing a picture how they was drawing the hate niggers on the, like, Martin Luther King statue. I mean, I don't know if the picture is true, but that's what they were seeing. You know? So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the statue, because they was defacing the statue, now people are like, well, that's it. It's a race war, y'all clip up. Right? So when Michael Brown died, nobody was concerned of a race war.
No, I didn't really hear nothing now.
Didn't hear nothing about that. When Eric Garner gets strangled, they didn't hear nothing about that race war.
No.
Right? You see what I'm saying? When Sandra Bland, when they say Sandra Bland killed herself, hang herself in a damn cell. Now Sandra Bland ain't no tiny girl, you know what I mean? You know, some sisters are small and tiny and pocket size, fun size. I get that. And some sisters are taller and, you know, more fun size. You get my point? Sandra Bland was a more fun size sister. She was a taller sister. And she hung, they said she hung herself in a goddamn grocery bag, bro. A plastic bag, 2 handles. So this big, damn near 6 foot tall woman, healthy Israelite woman, you know, that bag was able to, you know, take her weight, right, to the point where she suffocated and died and strangled. You know what I mean? So when they saw that, nobody said, well, you know, it's an impending race war.
No, I didn't. Nothing. Nah, I didn't really heard.
Nobody say that. So now understand what I'm saying. You know, we burned down Baltimore for Freddie Gray. When I say we, I'm talking about as a people. You know what I mean? I'm talking about as a people. We rioted for Michael Brown. You know, we marched for Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, forget about it. You know, that was a whole, you know, case going on for, you know, I mean, Rodney King. Rodney King alone was, you know, a whole ton of, you know, riots, in the LA riots, burning down stores and stuff like that, right? And yet still, there was no sense of a race war. There was no talk of it. So now what is the difference between that and now?
No difference. I mean, probably apparently how them watching it at a big, huge crowd marching, and I don't know.
I mean, but the Freddie Gray riots was a huge crowd too. I mean, the cops was running, brother. The cops. Let me see if I could find a tape and show you all. The cops was running from the crowd. Just now, hold on, huh? Right, the cops was running from the crowd. There's a video, brother, where this cop car, I mean, reversed for about 4 blocks straight, for about 4 blocks straight, brother, and ain't, you know what I mean, he ain't let up because, you know, some young boys was getting behind him. So yeah, I could find this thing here. Uh, right? Anybody have an idea as to why now it's being touted as, you know, race riots, race riots, race riots? When, you know, we've been in a race war for the last, you know, 400 years, for forever. We've always been in a race war. Why is it's being touted now?
Well, if if I may, I mean, what people really, everybody hearing about Trump and the rumors of war from North Korea. So probably we don't know if that is what it's in the atmosphere now. Wars, rumors that there's wars in atmosphere. So when they're seeing that riot taking place now, they may be just saying, nah, man, a race war might happen.
Okay, so
Probably,
so everybody hearing about the wars with you know, with North Korea and them. But what that war don't have nothing to do with us. Kim Jong Un ain't threatening to blow up, you know, South Central LA. He ain't threatening to blow up Library. You know what I mean? He ain't threatening to blow up, you know what I mean, beat him. But that still ain't had nothing to do with us. You understand?
Right.
The only difference between what happened with Freddie Gray and now and what happened with Eric Garner now and Sandra Bland now is the fact that white people are saying it's a race war coming. You understand? They are the one. White man is the one putting it in the air. Now imagine you see a white cop blow Michael Brown's head off, right? Nobody, it's not. That's not in the air. That it's a race war. You get my point? You see cops strangle Eric Garner. That's not in the air that it's a race war. See cops arrest Sandra Bland and she just wind up dead in jail. And, you know, they lie and said she, you know, they give us the story. Let me put it like that. They give us the story that she strangled herself with a shopping bag. You understand? Like when you go to prison, they take your shoelaces so you don't commit suicide, which means they are in the practice of removing things that you could commit, that you could kill yourself with or harm yourself with. So surely, if that's the practice, then they would have removed that trash bag. Because I mean, she ain't no, you know, genius. I don't believe she's the first one to come up with that, you know, means of death. So why is it now they're talking about a race war? Now let me take you one further. I want you to look at this tape, all right? I'll take a look at this tape. This is the one here.
What's up, guy?
Hold on, hold on. Don't bear with me. All right. Let me know. You all seeing the screen? Everybody seeing? You with me, Galawan? Hello, hello. Me a one. Anybody left? Give me a one. Give me a one if you all here. Give me a one. Give me a one. Just type in one if you all hearing. Just type in one. Type in one. Might have a little internet problem. Oh boy, I hope we ain't lose it. All right. Sound is good. Sound is good. Sound is good. This is brother here from Canada. All right. Okay. 111. All right, cool. All right, hopefully the brother get back on. All right, so he was making a point that you know, a lot of people outside of the US, they're looking at it as, you know, the beginning of a race war. I'm not saying we're not in the conditions of a race war. That's not what I'm saying. But if these statues coming down indicate to you that it's a race war, then you sound asleep, you super asleep, you snoring, you know, you dribbling all over, your whole face stuck to the pillow with spit because you so asleep. All right. Now I want you all to look at this tape here. All right. All right. So they're saying, you know, the situation with the statues coming down, you know, it predicates that race war. So now look at this. All right. This is I don't know whose statue it is, but it's a Confederate statue from North Carolina. All right. And they're about to take it down. All right.
And reactions here.
All right, hold on. Let me just make sure brothers on the live stream, Facebook Live, could see what's going on. Wait, how do I work this thing? All right. So you're seeing good, right? So they tear the statue down, brother. Eric, Galwan, you seeing, right? Or the brother on there, Kanega, Shay seeing, Kareem, I don't know if you're on there. You're seeing this, all right? Who is in the crowd? All right, hold on. Not fast enough. Let me play a little more. Who is kicking the statue?
A devil.
Now you have the dumb black woman is there. Dumb black woman is there, Slakia. Not referring to you sisters who are you know, not dumb, but the dumb black woman is there. Right? You got a young boy who grew up in a house with the dumb black woman is also there.
The 15-foot statue was described.
There's some more footage where they come and they spit on the statue. Hold on. All right. That's about it for now. All right. But from what you're seeing, right? From what you see in here, this is white people doing this stuff. You get my point?
Can.
This is not, you know, the Million Man March come together and force North Carolina to pull the statue down. You understand? This is a group of white people doing, you know, white people shit, which is to just, you know, destroy every and anything. You understand? So now how could it be that this is exchanged for, you know, a race war when this is white people? This is the North versus the South. This is Hatfields versus McCoy all over again. This is one group of powerful white people versus another group of powerful white people. You understand? This is the North saying, let's not treat the slaves like dogs. They're still going to be slaves, but let's treat them like they're our employees, like they're our friends, not our best friend, not our BFF, but, you know, someone we can talk to. They're still going to live outside, but we're going to smile with them more. And then you have the Southerners, the Confederates, which said, no, the slave is an animal. He's cattle. He is to be used as such. You get the point? So that's who's fighting here. And just as it, in the middle of these two white people fighting, Israel always find itself in the middle there. You understand? Israel always find themselves somewhere in the middle to do what? Nothing. Like this ain't black people coming together to do this. This is one group of white liberals versus another group of white conservatives. You understand? You get the point? Now let's look at this other one. All right. You made the comment about, you know, they're looking in outside of the US, and they're looking at the car that drove through the crowd. All right, let's look at it. You see it?
Yeah, can.
All right, no sweat. Let's get it.
Go.
All right. We know the driver is white. Who are you seeing on the screen? Oh Lord.
So, fortunately,
hold on. Let me get a better.
Castle has opened a federal.
Let me get a better video.
Then at 1:42 p.m., Fields allegedly.
All right, this is better. This is better here.
Popular with white supremacists.
That's supposed to be him.
Fields is also holding a shield emblazoned with Guard America insignia. Then at 1:42.
You see the crowd?
Can.
See all this blonde here on the side here, brother?
Can.
PM Fields allegedly.
Look right here. The clown hat, the clown head. This little white girl, white. Now you still have your little token Negro who, you know, goes to the rave with the white man. But this is one group of white people. You see it?
Before backing up.
Can.
Fighting another group of white people. This ain't got nothing to do with black versus white. But of course, in America, let's finish this tape here. Oh boy, that's a rough one.
Video taken from a drone.
Can.
As pedestrians scatter for their lives in every direction possible. Months later, cops took him into custody. Fields' relationship with police.
No, they took him into custody. Good night. Yeah, I mean, anyway, now, if it is now that you're thinking this has to do with black versus white, this is two white people fighting. This is two white people fighting, and just like in the Civil War, you had slaves who fought for the South, and you had slaves who fought for the North. You get the point? Like, we never totally separate and let them do their nonsense. Now in America, when something goes wrong, who does the white man blame?
Niggas.
You got them right. You understand? So now that's why what did Trump say when they asked him to comment on the whole thing in Charlottesville?
If I can remember, I think he said that the two sides was wrong, and I think he was saying racism is right, but violence is wrong, and
at first he said, you know, blame both sides. Both sides are to blame. How it's not any one side, and there was some good people there. There were some fine Americans down there. Right? He's saying that because, of course, this is all racist white people fighting. This ain't, you know, 500,000 million man march black people versus the KKK. You get the point?
Yeah.
If it was that, the response from the government would have been stronger and swifter. It would have been tactical squad. It would have been, you know, military being called in, the reserve, the army reserve, militarized police being called in. But this ain't that. This is one group of white people imposing on another group of white people on behalf of, you know, the slaves. It's like a group of white people who love dogs and a group of white people who fight dogs. And one group is fighting for animal rights and the other group is fighting for the right to, you know, put the animal in a cage and make the animal fight. None of them is fighting to just leave the animal alone. You understand?
Mm.
So now the whole thing in the air about race war, race war, race war, it's always been there. It's always been there. But this thing in Charlottesville, this is white people doing this. This is a white thing. You understand? If this was really, now let me ask you this. If this was really about black people pushing for these statues to come down, what would have to come down?
The Martin Luther King statues and
no, black people love Martin Luther King.
right.
If this was something that black people are pushing for and black people are pushing against the white man, every statue, every flag in America would have to come down, because everything represents racism and a violent past against black people.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Let me I know I'm told you we're gonna do the 12 tribes tonight. But let me just give me a few minutes. Let me just go through this, all right? I'm gonna bring this out real quick, because I ain't hearing nothing about this right here. I don't bring this just a short, anybody knows who J. Marion Sims is?
No.
Nope.
Have you ever heard the name J. Marion Sims?
No.
All right. Bear with me one. Bear with me one. Have you all ever seen this picture before? This one right here, anybody?
Fuck.
Does it look familiar?
Can't recall seeing a picture like that.
Anybody know? Anybody seen this before? No?
No.
All right. No problem.
So,
No problem.
They're about a beta or something. It's like, yeah.
What did it look like?
It looks like they're about a beta or something. I mean,
All right, so
seeing people in the background peeping.
you see the two other sisters in the background behind a curtain. These two men is here. She's on the table looking, you know, like she's, you know, she voluntarily went there. She ain't looking like she fighting back. These two men is here, and then this is the doctor here. This is Dr. J. Marion Sims. All right, you all remember that name. I have a book here. I've been trying to read it for the past, I'm not lying, 6 months, brother. And I can't get past the first maybe 2 chapters. All right, it's a rough book, brother. All right, it's called Medical Apartheid. All right, Medical Apartheid. Going back to it now. All right, this is the book here, Medical Apartheid. All right, the person who wrote this book, Harriet A. Washington, she wanted the cover of the book to be that picture. And that picture is copyrighted, and the copyright is owned by a company called Pfizer. Anybody knows who Pfizer is?
Wow.
All right. Pfizer is a pharmaceutical company in America. All right. One second. Right? Pfizer is a pharmaceutical company in America, all right? All right, one of the world's premier biopharmaceutical companies is called Pfizer. All right, they make a ton of medicine. I believe Pfizer is the ones behind that Viagra also. All right. All right. Pfizer was founded in 1849 by cousins Charles Pfizer and Charles F. Earhart, all right, in New York City as a manufacturer of fine chemicals. Right. Its discovery of teramycin in 1950 put it on a path to becoming a research-based pharmaceutical company. All right. They're a huge company. Started since the 1800s, all right? They started in 1849. And up till today, they're very much involved in medicine, pharmaceuticals, you know, chemicals and stuff like that. Now, what's the link between, you know, this J. Marion Sims and that picture that we saw? Let me see if I could pull it back up again, brother, because this picture should never be forgotten. All right? All right? Now, let me read some here for you. All right, it says on a sylvan stretch of New York's patrician Upper Fifth Avenue, just across from the New York Academy of Medicine, a colossus in marble, august inscriptions as a bas relief caduceus grace a memorial bordering Central Park, right? This is just fancy word for, they have a statue of this man up in New York, and it's outside Pfizer headquarters, right? These laurels venerate the surgeon James Marion Sims, MD, a selfless benefactor of women. Now, this man, they coin him as the father of gynecology, right? You know what a gynecologist is, right?
Yeah.
Right? They coin him as the father of gynecology. All right. Let me skip down. Hold on. In the mid-19th century, which is around 1850s, 1840s, 1850s, around the same time Pfizer was founded, Dr. Sims dedicated his career to the care and cure of women's diseases and opened the nation's first hospital for women in New York City. He attended French royalty. His Grecian visage inspired portraits, meaning, you know, he looked like the typical Greek, which is the white man with them chiseled features. So they painted a ton of pictures of him. All right. He was elected president of the American Medical Association. Hospitals still bear his name, including a West African hospital that utilizes the eponymous gynecological instruments that he first invented for surgeries upon black female slaves in the 1840s. Now remember, they said he selflessly, they would have said he is a selfless benefactor of women, meaning he was so generous. Like, he didn't do all of this for him, but he did this for the betterment of females, right? But it says his instruments were invented on surgeries upon black female slaves. This picture was a portrait painted to further the lie that he was a selfless benefactor. All right? Let me read some more. This benevolent image vies with the detached Marion Sims portrayed in Robert Thumb's J. Marion Sims, gynecologic surgeon, an oil representation of an experimental surgery upon his powerless slave, Betsy. Sims stands aloof, arms folded, that's him on the right-hand side here. One hand holding a metroscope, the forerunner of the speculum, right? This was, it's like a funny shaped spoon, almost like, that gynecologists use with women to open up their womb to check what's going on in there. This was the forerunner of it, meaning this was like, you know, what he made first, and then they made advances on his tool. You get the point?
Right.
As he regards the kneeling woman in a coolly evaluative medical gaze, like he looking at her, like he inspecting her. His tie and morning coat contrast with her simple servant's dress, head rag and bare feet. Right? They tried, this image was the propaganda to show that he was such a caring doctor, and he was taking care of these black sisters, and you know, these men here is there to help, and the sisters in the background, they're looking, because you know, he is all about women. You know what I mean? He's just all about these women. All right, let me read some more. The painting commissioned and distributed by Park Davis Pharmaceutical House. Right? The painting commissioned and distributed by Park Davis Pharmaceutical House. All right? More than a century after the surgeries, as one of its A History in Medicine Procedure series takes telling liberties with the historical facts. Tom portrays Betsy as a fully clothed, calm slave who kneels complacently on a table, hand modestly raised. Let's get back to the picture. Hands modestly raised to her breast before a trio of white male physicians. All right? This innocuous tableau could hardly differ more from the gruesome reality in which each surgical scene was a violent struggle between the slaves and physicians, and each woman's body was a bloodied battleground. You understand? What does this say in here, Gadawan? Or anybody?
To me, what's it saying? Like they never used to take the time. They used to just, you know, with force. They used to just go in with force. They used to take their time, and you know, that's what it's saying, like, to me.
I got you. Listen, it was an education for me also, brother. It was an education for me also. Let me tell you something now. I'm gonna stick on this for a little while, then we will jump on the 12 tribes breakdown. Every woman who goes to a gynecologist, you better thank the Lord. Not just thank the Lord, but you better remember and you better honor the thousands of black women that were mutilated so that you could go to the gynecologist. You better remember that. America's medicine was built on black people. You understand? The medicine of the world was built on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So there's no separation when I tell you that we are the world's greatest commodity as slaves. You understand? The whole study of gynecology came from what he did to these sisters on that table. You get my point, Art?
Okay.
The whole history of it. It says the black woman's body was a bloodied battleground. Bloodied battleground. You understand? And yet still now you have all this interracial nonsense. And, you know, the Christian church saying God say you could love everybody. So, of course, sisters going with these damn devils. If we would understand our history, we would not touch these people. You get the point?
Okay.
Let me read some more. Let me read that over again. This innocuous tableau could hardly differ more from the gruesome reality in which each surgical scene was a violent struggle between the slaves and physicians, and each woman's body was a bloody battleground. If you ever seen a battleground, you know, those of you who like them World War movies like myself, a battleground is legs all over the place, guts, blood, pints of blood all over. And that's how he left our women. You understand? Each naked, unanesthetized slave woman. You know what that word mean? Unanesthetized? Anybody knows? Anybody knows where that word comes from?
It has something to do with hormones, a woman's hormones.
The root word is anesthesia. That's the root word. Anesthesia. That's the root. Unanesthetized. The root word is anesthesia. Anybody have an idea? Want to take a shot at it?
Yeah.
All right. Karak said they were awake. I.W.Lam said they felt all the pain. You're on it. Anesthesia is, once again, a drug that would make you numb. It dulls your pain receptors. Some anesthesia will put you to sleep, knock you out. Some anesthesia will, you know, you'll be awake. You just ain't going to be feeling nothing. So they could open you up, operate on your arm, whatever. Sometimes your jaw. Sometimes you go to the dentist. He stick like 3 long-ass needles into you. You feel your mouth getting tight because of the fluid in there. And then he tell you, don't worry, soon you won't be able to talk. That's when the anesthesia kicks in. And they you know, make you talk and you start doing that and dribbling. That's when they know your mouth shut. You ain't feeling nothing. He could hit you a damn sledgehammer in your jaw. You ain't gonna feel shit. It says, each naked, unanesthetized slave woman had to be forcibly restrained by the other physicians through her shrieks of agony as Sims determinedly sliced, then sutured her genitalia. Do I need to read it again? I'm going to read it one more time so you understand. Where's the bastard picture? Let me get the bastard picture back up. Each naked, unanesthetized slave woman had to be forcibly restrained by other physicians through her shrieks of agony as Sims determinedly sliced. Now, determinedly meaning she fighting, and he is like, God damn it, I'm going to cut you open. He's determined, meaning she's fighting back. Hell, they're trying to cut the woman open. She fighting back, and he's determined that, you know, surely, shit. Sometimes you carry a child for shots or a dog for shots or a dog to cut the tail or the ears and the dog crying and wheezing. Some owners is like, listen, I can't take no more. Don't worry about it. We ain't going to do it. But he hold down, buckle down more, bite down to cut this woman open. All right? Determinedly sliced, then sutured her genitalia. Meaning he was able to cut it open, pull the skin back, see what's going on in there. And after all that blood done leak out, he sew it right back up. You know what I mean? Sew it up and send her back out to the barn. And so she could get ready for tomorrow's day of medicine. For tomorrow's day of taking notes. All right? Let me keep reading. The other doctors who could fled when they could bear the horrific scenes no longer. It then fell on the woman to restrain one another. You understand? The other doctors who could fled when they could not bear the horrific scenes no longer. It then fell on the woman to restrain one another. And these bastards paint this picture here as if this damn Sims was so nice. Notice there's no blood anywhere. I don't know if y'all noticed that in the picture. Y'all seeing that? There's no blood anywhere. Let me switch to Facebook so y'all could see it on the Facebook. There's no red anywhere here on this picture. This is not Sims in the corner here in the right. This is the woman who they label Betsy. These are the other two doctors who would hold her down to the table while he cut the sister open. These are the two sisters they painted as if, ooh, look at what boss doing. Meanwhile, these women would be beat if they didn't hold this sister down so this damn animal could cut her open. Right? Look, this down here is the bowl of water, hot water that they would wash the tools out in. Right here is the towel on the table. You're seeing it here? The towel is on the table with the scissors and the knife and everything they would use to sew up. And of course, he have the speculum here. The speculum is the old school thing for, I think today they call them calipers. I believe they call them calipers. The sisters who usually go to the OBGYN, they would know what I'm talking about. But this is what he would use. Meanwhile, this the book said these two niggas, these two devils here, Slovakia, these two devils would run. They can't take it no more. When she done screaming and blood all over the place, passing out, coming back, passing out, coming back, and these women would have to hold her down or else they'll be beat. That's the only how they'll have to hold her down. They ain't holding her down just because, come on, nigga, take this shit. Somebody is forcing them to do it. So somebody forcing them, they forcing her. Now you wonder why your sister's so hard-headed. We brought out a few weeks ago how trauma is hereditary. How trauma travels through your generations. And the white man done looked at our DNA and our bloodline and realized that we are a people as a nation suffering from PTSD from 400 years of trauma. So now imagine, brother, your mother, your sister, your woman descended from people who were subject to this type of abuse. Now, some Christian would see a damn statue fall and say we at a race war. But this doesn't mean we at a race war. Michael Brown don't mean we at a race war. A damn statue falling, oh, now we got to fight because a statue bleeds, right? A statue cries, right? You understand the propaganda? You understand what I'm saying? How it's just foolish to just for a goddamn statue? No. Now, if we're talking about statues falling, then everything have to fall because they built a statue to this bastard right here. And Pfizer, after I'm gonna read the history of it. After he stepped down from being the president of the American Medical Society, Pfizer made him one of the chief executives, which Pfizer today is a successful pharmaceutical company. Like America has to pay for what they did to us. England has to pay for what they did to us. Spain, France, Britain, everybody, Germany has to pay for what they did to us. Don't tell me about no damn Holocaust. Hitler ain't experiment on nobody in no Holocaust and cut nobody open to study medicine. It's black people went through that. So don't tell me about no 6 million Jews in no Holocaust, man. All right, let's get some more. Let's get to read some more, all right? Right, just hold your questions. We're going to get them towards the end, all right? Okay, so this is the sister right in here. I wanted to reproduce Thumb's painting on the cover of this book. Now, the woman who wrote this book, she wanted to put this same painting we're looking at on the cover of the book, right? She wanted to put it on there to show how the horrible history in medicine that we have in America. And when I say America, I'm talking about not just the land mass America. I'm talking about Central America, South America, and the Caribbean islands, because that's where America's footprint is. We ain't just talking about the continental America. When we say America, we're talking about everywhere the slaves have been. You get the point? On this side, right? All the medicine that came from it. She wanted to put this on the cover to show the hypocrisy of the white man, to paint this pristine, clean image as if he was, you know, taking his time. Remember you were saying that maybe this devil was taking his time? When this has nothing to do with taking his time, this was a brutal bastard. Brutal bastard. So now she wanted to put it on the cover of this book, or at least in the text, meaning as a picture on the page somewhere, because a lot of people see this picture and don't really know the history of it. And she wanted to include it in the book. But when I asked permission of its copyright holder, Pfizer Inc., the company insisted on reviewing the entire manuscript of this book before making a decision. As an independent scholar, I could not acquiesce to this, and I used another cover image. When I renewed my request to use the image within the text, Pfizer agreed to base its decision upon reading this chapter and an outline of the book. The Pfizer executives apparently were uncomfortable with what they read because they refused to grant permission to produce this telling image or even respond to my query after I supplied requested chapter. This act of censorship exemplifies the barriers some choose to erect in order to veil the history of unconscionable medical research with blacks. You understand? You do some more research on this picture. Pfizer has this picture up in their lobby. I believe it's their lobby or one of them, their rooms in their buildings. Like, this picture is very important to them and they own the copyright of it. So you can't reproduce nothing else for sale or to distribute without getting permission from them first. Because they want to protect the image because they know what they did to black people in order to produce what is, today as your modern medicine. All right?
Right.
Hold on. Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and the most inhumane. Anybody knows who said that?
Nuh-uh.
I'm going to read it one more time. Y'all tell me. Let me know if this sounds familiar to you at all. Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and the most inhumane. Brother, you would not believe me if I told you who did. Anybody have an idea? Anybody want to take a shot? Karak said Margaret Sanger. La I.W.L.A.M. You on it. In 1965, Martin Luther King Jr. spoke these words in Montgomery, Alabama, at the end of the Selma to Montgomery March that had been attended by the black and white physicians of the Medical Committee for Human Rights. This bastard knew they was experimenting on black women. He knew they experimented on black people. And he tried to say it like, of all the injustices, in the medical field has the greatest injustice. And yet still we must come together. And yet still we must come together. You're sick. Mad. Now you realize why we so as a people so crazy. Why so much of us is, schizophrenic and you know, all these different diseases, bipolar, and, you know, everything else. Because dealing with this, brother, will send you crazy. Dealing with this will break you as a man, break you as a woman. You get the point?
Can't.
Hold on, let me skip you down. Hold on. One second, bear with me 1 second. All right. In fact, some otherwise well-meaning people wish to censor any analysis of troubled research with African Americans, as I discovered firsthand to my great surprise. I was elated when a professor at a U.S. medical school summoned me to her office explaining that she wanted to hear all about the book I was writing. And ensconced in a chair, I eagerly began to describe my work, only to be cut off before I had completed the first sentence. Bolting upright in her chair, she vehemently informed me that the topic of this book was taboo, meaning this was kind of like off limits. You know what I mean? This was kind of something we don't talk about in the medical field, all right? It's a terrible thing that you are doing. That's what the woman told her. You are going to make African Americans afraid of medical research and physicians. Now listen, the average black person don't like to go to the doctor no goddamn way. Now imagine you reading all of this, brother, you ain't going to the white man. That's the problem. You understand? You ain't going to the white man. And it's all intricately woven because we ain't supposed to be integrated with these bastards. We're supposed to have our own medical doctors, our own physicians, our own facilities, and not have to go to this bastard to be experimented on. You understand? You cannot write this book. As she glared at me, her face became contorted with anger, suffused with blood, and her breathing grew rapid. This is a white woman talking to her. Right? She's simple as could be to go think this white woman is going to agree with her with this book. You understand? There's some more in here. I'm trying to remember exactly where it is. Where all over the place, these in the South, they would kidnap slaves. And up in the North, especially DC, was a known place that slaves would be kidnapped and taken for experiments and all that stuff. Like that 12 Years a Slave, remember that fool was kidnapped, I think, right here in DC or Baltimore somewhere. Right? That movie 12 Years a Slave, that was supposed to be based on, you know, real events. I believe the setting for his kidnapping was right in DC. Frederick Gardner, a peripatetic Mormon physician, left among his travel memoirs an impression of the 19th century slave markets of Washington, D.C. There are great numbers of Negroes, nearly all of whom are slaves. And on different streets are large halls occupied as marts or stores for the sale or purchase of slaves. While I have been looking at one of these places on Gravier Street, two gentlemen have arrived, one of whom I have seen in the saloon. He is a young planter, and come to purchase a girl to take care of his children or whatever duties he may think proper to impose on her. The other person, a doctor whom he has brought with him for the purpose of examining her. Now you see how they do. Just like if it's a, you're going to buy an animal, or you're going to buy a car, you bring a mechanic to check the car. Open up the hood, check the oil, check the tires. He bring a doctor to inspect this deal. All right?
Mm.
They pass along the front of the row in company with the agent or salesman. As they move forward, one is called upon to stand up. Then another while a passive examination is made. Then finally he discovers a bright mulatto who appears about 16 years of age and is quite good looking. She is ushered into a private room where she is stripped to a nude condition and a careful examination is made of all parts of the body by the doctor and is pronounced to him to be sound. The money is then paid and she is transferred to her new owner. You understand? Now they go on to talk about how these doctors didn't used to be cruel to these slaves, but it is a lie. You understand? It is a full-blown lie, as we read before, where even the doctors who was performing these procedures on the sisters, they couldn't take it no more after a while. You understand? They couldn't take it no more, and they had to run out the room. Let me give you some more on this J. Marion Sims. Hold on. I'm trying to get this thing working. Where is the part with Pfizer? Oh boy. Bear with me one. Oh boy. Bear with me, Obgyn. Bear with me. Where is the link with Pfizer, boy? Oh boy, I done lost it. I'm gonna look it up again. But there's a link where when he was this same J. Marion Sims, when he was president of that American Medical Association, right? Where he was president of that, he moved to either the parent company or he served in Pfizer's ranks. All right, early Pfizer ranks, and Pfizer, moved on to be one of the great, medical pharmaceutical companies of America. All right, let me show you all this tool here that they was talking about. See this thing right here? You'll see it? This tool right here this is the speculum. That's what he's holding in the picture here. On this side, this of course is what he uses, to open the woman up. All right, to open the woman up, as he, did his experiments. All right, Marie right here. Although anesthesia had recently become available, Sims did not use any anesthetic during his procedures on Anaka, Betsy, and Lucy. According to Sims, it was not yet fully accepted into surgical practice, and he was unaware of the possibility of the use of ether. However, ether as anesthesia was available as early as the beginning of 1842. The common belief at the time was that black people did not feel as much pain as white people, and thus did not require anesthesia when undergoing surgery. Never, like we animals, right? Nevertheless, in a memoir, he stated that Lucy's agony was extreme and was much prostrated, and I thought she was going to die, meaning she laying flat out. That would mean prostrate. She laying flat out. And he thought she was going to die because she was in so much pain from him cutting her open. Like she's supposed to just sit there and take it, in his mind. After he operated on her in the presence of 12 doctors without anesthetics, she nearly died from septicemia following his experimental use of a sponge to wipe urine from the bladder during the procedure. Brother, white man is the fucking devil. Salak. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
And I don't need a statue to come down for me to understand that. I don't need that. I don't care about the Confederate flag or nothing like that. There are greater things than a goddamn flag. Now, I ain't saying the flag ain't how to come down. I ain't saying them statues ain't how to come down. But if that's what you want a statue removed, let's say they take down all the statues. Now what? Now it's all good? Now, so the cops is going to stop killing people. They're going to stop kidnapping these sisters to continue organ harvesting. Nah, man, something greater had to happen. This whole kingdom has to come down. You get the point? The whole kingdom has to come down, brother. You understand? This fool here, brother, while cut the woman box open now, she peeing. He take a sponge to wipe the shit up, wipe the piss up, and infect the sister so much so that the pain brother, the pain combined with the infection nearly killed the woman. But yet still, it was common practice. It was a common thought that black people did not feel as much pain as white people because, of course, we're animals. So he don't have to use no anesthesia. You understand?
Thanks.
But now, you know, he's well respected. He's a well respected man. I ain't hear nothing about this coming down. You know what I mean? I ain't hear nothing about this here coming down. This is his statue. Right? This is in New York. J. Marion Sims. See how they have him looking all noble? You know what I mean? They're making him look like, you know, that's the angel Gabriel right there, right? What does it say there? Surgeon and philanthropist. Right, I think that's what it was. I'm going to find the link. I'm going to try and find the link again, where they said I think he donated a ton of money to the research in Pfizer. Surgeon and philanthropist of the Women's Hospital State of New York. His brilliant achievement carried the fame of American surgery throughout the entire world. Every woman on the planet Earth, you owe the health of your vagina to black women. You go into your OBGYN in Australia, you owe the slaves your life. You owe black people your life and your health. You understand? But of course, they ain't want to, you know what I mean? They didn't want to bring these things out. Let me see what else they say in here. His services in the cause of science and mankind awarded highest honors by his countrymen and decorations from the governments of Belgium, France, Italy, Spain, and Portugal. Because part of his career before he took the presidency of the the America's Medical Association, he went abroad to study, right? Which was common practice for most American professionals. Just like Hitler had Margaret Sanger come across and counsel his Nazi soldiers on keeping the concentration camps, because she took what they did with the Native Indians and implemented it in Nazi Germany. These American professionals were known to go abroad with their medicine. All right. So here's one statue of him. All right. Here's one statue of him. This is a bust of his head. All right. Now, let me see if I get a better picture of that bust. I don't know if y'all could see it. There's a picture of just his head alone. They call these things a bust. All right, J. Marion Sims. Like, I ain't seen nobody pulling this down. You understand? I ain't hear no, you know, Black Lives Matter march to pull that statue down. Where is it? Unless I'm ill-informed. You know what I mean? Unless I'm ill-informed. You get the point? Like this bastard here, he needs to go down. There's another I'm gonna hand about. Didn't mean to bring this out today, but since you asked about the statues and the statues, all right, I said let's touch on it. But there's another account. Damn. There's another account of this same J. Marion Sims who started research on brain development, and he would cut the heads open of infants, of slave infants, and study their development. You understand? He would do all these things, and he has a statue that's all the way up there in New York, and they ain't talking about it. I ain't hearing nothing about the brutality that's honored with his statue. You understand?
Okay.
So now, if it is that we're looking at these things to bring a race war, brother, there are things that happened before that would have sparked a race war, unless this is more propaganda, you know, as usual with America to do everything. You get the point?
Okay.
Right? So now if it is, now I'm not saying the statues should stay up. I'm saying we should not just want the statues down. We should want this whole place burned down. We should want this whole country destroyed by the Lord. We should want every philosophy that that America pushes on us to be destroyed. And above all, we should want justice and judgment for what they have done to us. You understand? I couldn't give two rats behinds about no goddamn statue. But I do want somebody to drag this bastard Sims children in court and then read out before them everything he did and make them pay for what their father did. You understand? I do want George Washington and, you know, Andrew Jackson and Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Thistlewood. You know who Thomas Thistlewood is?
No.
Thomas Thistlewood was a criminal in Britain, and he was sent to a plantation in Jamaica called Egypt. That was the name of the plantation. And it was notorious for being one of the most brutal plantations in the Caribbean. And he wrote memoirs. There's the Thomas Thistlewood memoirs, like a diary of all the things he would do to the slaves. And all the women he would rape as slaves. And then he tell you which one would rape good and which one was a bad rape, meaning which one would give him good sex and which one wouldn't. Right? Young girls, older girls, how he would beat this one and stretch this one out and cut this one open. Like, all these things is happening and we don't know nothing about it. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Now, to pin a race war on statues, it's a goddamn joke. You understand? It's a joke, and it's not at all taking the history of what happened to Black and Hispanic and Native Indians into full consideration. You understand? It's not at all saying that. All right, it's not at all putting that into play. All right, Jeffrey Retleff Suriname, I know where Suriname is. Suriname is on the northern coast of South America, just above Venezuela, I believe. Descendant of the Dutch slave trade. All right, he wants to know which tribe you're from. Suriname is Asha, is largely Asha. That whole northern half of South America is Asha, right? Brazil, Venezuela, Suriname. What else we have down there? I believe Bolivia. What else is down there? Where's the map? Colombia. Right? Colombia to Uruguay. Asha. All right? And I'm glad you asked that question because, again, we were going into the 12 tribes breakdown. All right? The breakdown on the 12 tribes. So, South America, Colombia to Uruguay. So you have Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname. You have French Guyana, Brazil, Bolivia, Colombia. That is Asha. All right? That is Asha. All right. The other one, Naphtali, Argentina to Chile. Right, Argentina to Chile. What's the other one? All right. Let me call some more in Asha. Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, Uruguay. I believe all as Asha. All right. Naphtali is Argentina and Chile. All right. Argentina and Chile. I think Uruguay might be Naphtali as well. All right. And we're going to go more into it. So, brother, you're born in Suriname. If you were born to, Guatemala is more central. One second. All right, Guatemala is more central. So you have Mexico, which is I.S.U.K. Guatemala to Panama is Zebulon, it's a Balawan. So you have Guatemala. Belize is in the region, but Belize has a historical makeup of Issachar and Judah. All right? Some Benjamin, but it's mainly Issachar and Judah come out of Belize because Belize was one of the locations of where Mexico would fight America a whole ton. And of course, America in fighting the Issacharites would bring Judah in there to fight. And of course, after everything done settled, you know, Judah stayed there. So there's a combination of Judah and Issachar in Belize. So you have Guatemala, Zebulon, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. All that is Zebulon. All right? It's a Balawan. All right? I hope that answers your question. Ain't no sweat, brother. All right? So if you were born to one of the native people of Suriname, you're more than likely from Asha. Now, of course, being that Suriname is that close on the coast there to you know, the Caribbean islands, is very, very it's not uncommon for you know, brothers and to make their way, you know, from Trinidad to Venezuela and Suriname, brothers from Barbados, you know, there's can be that mix. All right. Even Guyana, who is Asha, a lot of the brothers down there are actually Benjamites in Guyana. And then you have Asha, who is in Guyana. Then you have a ton of East Indians, who is Elam, who is not even a part of the 12 tribes who reside in Guyana. All right. So let's get into that now, unless anybody had any other questions. But let's get into that. Let's get into that. Galawan, you had any other questions?
Right. Not right now. We will get into the
Let's get into the 12 tribes then, all right? They give me Genesis 49. You can start at verse 1.
Can. Genesis chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. And verse 2. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father.
And keep reading. You don't have to call the verse. You don't have to call the verse. Just keep reading.
Reuben, thou art my firstborn.
All right. So this is what you have to understand. Jacob, he calling all his sons together and letting them know what their condition would be in the last days, what would befall them in the last days. All right. Go ahead.
All right. My might and the beginning of my strength, the excellency and dignity and the excellency of power, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Simon and Levi,
all right,
brethren.
Stop right there. I read over Reuben one more time.
Come. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and my beginning of my strength.
Right? Reuben is Israel's firstborn. Right? Reuben or Ra'aban. Right? Ra'aban in the Hebrew. All right? Who is Ra'aban?
Reuben.
Right? But who is Ra'aban today?
Cuba? I could think not.
No, not Cuba. Anybody else? Once again, also too, if anybody want to jump in the class to be heard, if you have questions, we don't have a lineup, but I can definitely give you the link for the Hangouts. That way we could, you could ask a question directly, or you could you could voice a question if you need to. All right, just let me know. You could ask for the link through the Facebook, or if you're in the class, ask for the link, and I'll send it to you. All right. Yeah, go ahead, Galawan. Who is Reuben? No sweat, no sweat. Anybody else? All right, I'm seeing it. Zaquan. Zaquan said Seminole Indians. All right, Kenyon Smith, I got you. I'm sending you the link now, all right? Reuben is the Seminole Indian, all right? Galawan, you have the flyers there with you?
Yeah. Start.
All right, Ruben.
Okay.
All right, those of you all who want the link, just send me one of those Facebook messages on the messenger, so I could just copy and paste the link right there in the window. All right, Kenyon Smith, just hit me a message in the messenger real quick, and I'll send it to you. All right, anybody who needs it, just send it to me. All right, I think it's only open for a few, so after a while you might be able to get in. But just send me the link and I'll paste it for you. Okay. Yeah, so Ruben is the Seminole Indian, right? The Seminole Indian is found mainly in the South, Florida. I know Florida for sure. That type, those areas down there. So Southern Carolina, going west, like heading into that area on the west side. All right, not all the way west coast, but that southern area. Seminole Indians. All right.
So that is like in the States alone, in the South.
Right. Yeah. That's where those are the Seminole Indians. All right, Seminole Indians. If you're using your cell phones to get in on the Hangouts, just make sure and update your Hangouts real quick. It ain't gonna take you that long. Because I know some people saying they're not getting in. I don't know what's the reason. Galawan, you had to do anything special to get in?
You just have to sometimes you just have to take off your messenger to go into the Google Hangouts. Close off your messenger to go into the Google Hangouts.
Okay, so they'll have to deactivate the Facebook Messenger?
Yeah, like just close it off.
Okay, so you'll make sure and just close your Facebook Messenger and you should be able to get into the Hangouts. I know some people were definitely saying they were not able to. I don't understand why. This is new to me also. So, bear with me. See if you can work it out, all right? I know sometimes you have to sign in to Google, to your Hangouts. Make sure you have Hangouts on your phone, and you should be able to do it. Make sure you're properly clothed too, all right? I know it's Sunday. Don't come in here, too comfortable, all right? Okay, so Ruben is the Seminole Indians, right? Ruben or Alban, Seminole Indians. So read it again. Ruben, thou art my firstborn.
And the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power.
Right. The excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Like Ruben, till this day, hold on, how the hell I'm gonna do this? What's the class? 1 second.1 second. All right. The excellency of dignity. Till this day, the Seminole Indians are technically still at war with America because they made no treaties with them. Right? Till this day, they're technically still at war with America because of course America made no treaties with them. I mean, they made no treaties with America. You understand?
Okay.
Trying to get the rest of y'all in, but y'all something about it I ain't understanding. Oh boy. Let me see what's going on here. It's fully public. You're going to bear with me for a little while, all right? Because I'm sending the link. Galawan, is there anything else, anything separately you did to be able to get in?
Nah.
Once you included in the Hangouts, what you have to do, you have to like the page or something, or subscribe to the page?
Nah, just click Hangouts. You go have a box, you have to click in the box. I think will come up, then you press proceed, and that is about it.
And that's it. All right?
That is it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you're not able to get in, man.
Yeah. So like, yeah, but the first time I couldn't get in, it was the Facebook Messenger. I was talking to somebody, said it was open, so I had to close off the chat while I was talking to the person, and then I could get in the Hangout.
Okay, no sweat.
Yeah.
Just make sure you close off your Messenger first, all right? Close off the Messenger, your Facebook Messenger. You know, for you brothers, you know what I mean. You all you inner Jon Snows. You know what I mean. Just tell the mother of dragons you'll be back. You know what I mean. Just tell her you'll be back. You know what I mean. Just going to class for now. All right. You're a king. You don't need permission. All right. But just close off the Messenger for now, and see if the Hangout works for you. All right. If not, I'm gonna do some research on this damn Google thing that I hate so much, and I'll figure out what the deal is for you. But right now I don't know why you would not be able to get in. All right. Try it again. Make sure close out your Messenger. Make sure your Hangouts is logged in, and see if you can get in. All right. Okay, so Seminole Indians, Rahamban, the beginning of his strength, because of course it's his firstborn, and excellency of dignity, right? He made no treaties with the white man till this day. They still technically at war with America, all right? Keep going on.
Can. Unstable as water. Thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed. Then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch.
All right. You know what this is talking about? Anybody know what this is talking about?
So okay, I think there's when he went with his father's wife or something like that. If I could recall.
Right? He had sex with Jacob's woman. Not his mother, but one of Jacob's women. All right?
Right.
Went up and defiled the couch. Defiled his father's nakedness. He was unstable as water. All right? I will what do you mean to send the PDF out? Before I send the link to PDF out. What do you mean? All right. All right, go ahead, Galawan.
All right, can. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
Right.
Can. Right.
I mean, you could send the link out if you want to. It's a good book. I'm just in the habit of buying, you know, books, you know, I mean, some books are definitely good to have with you. There's another book I got when I was in the UK in Manchester. All right, there's another book, Jerusalem, the biography, and this has the whole history of the Maccabees in here as a separate historical record. You know what I mean? So it's a good book to have. Medical apartheid. It vexes me a whole ton reading through it. You know, I mean, $40 million slaves. There's a whole slew of them. Once I was a slave memoirs. Slocum is another good book. Tells you about all the lynches and the massacre in Texas years ago. So ain't nothing wrong with having the book. So you could for sure send the link out if you have the PDF of it and people could download. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? It's a good historical reference to what happened with us medically. So I don't think nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Whether I bring it out again on Tuesday, I might. You know what I mean? Let me know. All right. Okay, I see what the brother's saying here. All right. So yeah, Gallimon, go ahead.
Can. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, into their assembly. Mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down a wall.
All right, so what is that saying? What's the first part of it saying? Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty is in their habitations. What does that say?
It means they'll fight amongst each other.
Simeon and Levi are brethren.
Brethren. Okay, it's trying to say that the both of them will always be in a cruel environment.
Think about it like this. All the 12 tribes are brethren, right? Why do they say that about Simeon and Levi if all the 12 tribes are brothers? Why do this? You understand it yet? Anything come to you?
They are like the closest brothers out of all.
What makes them the closest?
Tribes. Because they both will face similar cruelty. The both of them will face a similar.
Why do brothers fight?
Brothers fight and have a disagreement.
Okay, instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. Break that, give me that one.
Where they dwell, both Simeon and Levi. it's plenty violence. It has
Right.
plenty high. Yeah.
So when it says Simeon and Levi are brethren, what is it talking about?
It means they are close brothers. Yeah.
What makes them close?
Because both of them will stay living in the same area.
That's it. That's it. That's what makes them close. All right. Shawapa. Shawapa. Right? Because they are together. They're on the same island. They're dwelling together. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. A habitation is a place where you live. So they live together. That's what makes them brethren or brothers, close brothers. And as they live together, they are extremely cruel to each other. You understand? They're extremely cruel to each other, unnecessarily cruel to each other. All right? They're unnecessarily cruel to each other. Who is Simeon and Levi today?
Well, to remember, the Levites is the Haitians.
Right?
You know, there's where had the first revolution of slavery. You know?
And who is Simeon?
Well, Simeon is the Dominicians. Right?
Dominicans. Don't say Dominican.
Dominicans.
Yeah, don't say Dominicians. Make it sound like the Grecians. Yeah, I mean, don't say Dominica. Don't say Dominicians. Say Greek. Yeah, I'm Dominicans. All right.
Well, from what I read here, with they live in the same land. Dominicans living in Haiti presently. I don't have no map to really.
No sweat. They share the same. They share the same island. The island of Hispaniola is split straight down the middle, with Simeon on one side and Levi on the other.
Right.
They live together, and because they live together, they now they beef with each other a lot. They beef with each other a lot, and they're extremely cruel to each other. All right, and I mean, there's a whole ton of tapes and pictures of what Simeon and Levi do to each other in the name of, you know, national pride. And the national pride they have is not Israelite pride, but the pride of being, you know, French, or the pride of being Spanish. You get the point? Hold on. I was trying to look up some pictures and videos of it, but I mean, it's rough. It's boy, it's a rough thing where, you know, the Haitians would hack the Dominicans who came over or on the border, and the Dominicans who would, you know, because Haiti was so poor after the revolt, a lot of Haitians would go to Dominica for you know, to get, you know, jobs and money. And of course, Simeon, you know, being under the Spanish rule and being highly, being damn near in the mind, married to the white man, of course, is going to totally reject Levi. And it's a back and forward, you know, cruelty being done to each other and their brothers. You understand? The second and third born, the second and third born brothers, Simeon and Levi. They're the second and third born. What else is cruelty? What is the cruelty that Simeon does to Levi? Huh? Right. Shawalpa. That's the videos you've been seeing lately. That's definitely some of the proof, but that ain't happening now. That's happening for years. That's happening for 200 years, 300 years down there. The history between Simeon and Levi. All right, we've seen it a lot more now, but it's been happening a lot. All right, that we have a video been working on. I'm gonna try to see if we can get to push it out some more on the history with Simeon and Levi, and how how rough it is because of the brainwashing of Christianity. Right? So Simeon, go ahead.
So I just want to know, how did the voodoo thing get in? Was that a Christian doctrine, the voodoo and Obgyn and those stuff?
Right.
In Haiti?
That's what I was getting into. Simeon would chop Levi into pieces. Levi would do the same. In addition to that, Levi would use what the world calls voodoo or black magic or devil magic or whatever it is against Simeon. Same way. I mean, Levi would do it to himself, to anybody right now. All right? The black magic or voodoo is something that's not real. It is a mixture of witchcraft, which is, the use of, different herbs and ingredients to put someone in a different state of mind, idol worship, and revenge, right? Voodoo is a religion, and it's the only religion where the whole purpose of it is to hurt your enemy. It's for revenge. The purpose of voodoo as a religion is to hurt your enemy. It's a religion of revenge. You ain't doing voodoo for nothing else but to get back. All right, and that's where it comes from. It's a mixture of all of that. There's no power in a dead chicken. There's no power in sprinkling blood on somebody and putting flour in your hand and doing and then the flour. There's no power in that. There's no power in beating somebody with bamboo. I mean, there's no power in it. You get the point, Galawan? You all understand?
Yeah, I can.
There was a devil who went to Haiti to study the effects of voodoo, and he wrote a book called The Serpent and the Rainbow. Right? Who's on there? Yo, make sure keep your phones on mute if you ain't speaking, all right? And he did a movie called The Serpent and the Rainbow. And as he's doing these studies, he's uncovering that the so-called voodoo is really the voodoo is a practice of cutting up herbs and different roots and grass and vegetation that as a combination or if you boil it and process the water out, you put it in a pot and cook it up and give this person to drink, put it in their food, sprinkle it on them, it will have some type of adverse effect. You understand? Sometimes it puts you to sleep. Sometimes it make you, defecate, it give you diarrhea. That's what they did to the French, right? Where, because the Levi were the slaves, they made all the food for the French and was very close in with the French and was able to now put everything they concoct, all the mixtures and the potions they concoct into the food. The French eat it, take it in, and they start, diarrhea and shitting blood and vomiting feces, right? That's in their recorded history. And okay, they come in, they give you food in the morning, they know how long it takes to take a toll, so they come around and, you know, paint the face up and dance with the dead chicken and throw blood on you and blow. And you think this person have power because as they blowing, you start feeling more sick, throwing up, diarrhea, you know, shitting out your whole guts. And you think it's because of the damn, you know, bloody headless chicken and the damn flour, when this is something they put in your food 6 o'clock in the morning. You get the point? That's where it came from. And that's what made the French leave. Voodoo was a big part of it. Voodoo wasn't the only thing. Tousse and them got busy. Tousse them got busy with them machetes and them guns, right? Tousse would learn from one of the French generals, so he was no fool. Just like how Moses rose up in Egypt and was educated, Tousse also was educated. The other one who came after him, what's his name? Desailly. Desailly was also taught well, all right? And those men, they held on to the art of war, and they were able to rage a revolt against the French, a very calculated and militant revolt against the French, pushed them off the island and set up themselves. But that voodoo is a mixture of that, right? Another thing they would do is cook up some concoction to make you go into a catatonic state. You know what a catatonic state is?
A bad state?
Catatonic state. All right, it's they give you something and you go unconscious, right? It's like you fall to sleep. It's like you fall to sleep for a while, but it slows your heart rate down, it slows your breathing down so much that at that time, all the you know, when somebody check you and examine you, it's showing up like you dead. But you're not dead. Remember, this ain't, you know, 911. This ain't the ambulance coming with the EKG, check you, you know, hook up and stuff. This is, you know, though you feel a pulse, put the mirror by your nose. Is it fogging up? None of that showing up. They think you dead. You're not dead. But this drug done put your body, shut your whole body down, that your breathing is very slow. Your heart is beating very slow. And of course, they think you dead. They bury you. Bury you there. Your heart beating slow, so less energy is getting to you. You dead in you buried in the grave, buried alive for 3 days. Not enough energy is getting to your brain, so of course you suffer brain damage. Because of that, you have the symptoms of like a stroke where one half of your body ain't working. And on the 3rd or the 4th day, when the drugs start wearing off, your breathing start getting back normal, but you damaged up in your brain. Your limbs ain't working right because oxygen got cut off from certain parts of your brain. So you dig your way out the grave and you walking around twisted, one hand stiff up. You can't talk, and you dragging a foot coming. What does that sound like to you?
It's like somebody in the world would sound like a person who died and come back.
There's a name for it. There's a name for that.
A zombie?
They call it a zombie. Zombie is a French word. Right? It's a French word because that's where it comes from. Right? You'll see that, what was that movie, The Walking Dead? Right? That whole Walking Dead, that zombie thing, that's where it comes from. Somebody who's you thought was dead. Who is this we have in class posting this nonsense? You know, so what I got to. This is somebody you thought was dead, and they ain't dead. And they come back to life and they're moving funny. But that's just them coming back to life. But you done worked something on them that caused them damage as a person, and they'll never ever be the same again after that. You understand? They'll never be the same. So that's why he's saying instruments of cruelties in their habitations. Simeon would hack Levi would hack Simeon up. Levi would, you know, do the voodoo, so-called voodoo on Simeon and on themselves. Like it's a cruel brotherhood. They were evil to each other, very, very evil to each other. You get the point? Right?
Yeah.
And voodoo is nothing. What do they call someone who practices voodoo?
A witch.
A witch.
Oh.
What do you know a witch is from the scriptures?
Someone who does mix up herbs.
One word. According to the Bible,
Drug dealer.
A drug dealer. A drug
yeah.
dealer is somebody who cooks something up. Put a pot on the stove, put this in, put that in, boil it up, let it boil down, add this more in it, let it boil out. And give it to you, and you turn into, you're not even yourself anymore. It's the same thing. You understand?
Right.
It's the same thing. And it's a cruel practice. It's a cruel thing to do to each other. All right? Read it again. I think this is going to be the last one for tonight, and then we're going to we'll continue it next week. Atali Asha. It's not witchcraft. It's just, you know, drugs. It's you know, it's drugs. It's, you know, it's herbs and, you know, things they cut up and chemicals being mixed. But of course, you know, Levi always dealing with everything in the priesthood. That's his profession. He know what is good for this and what is good for that. Like in the islands is common, I think pretty much in the south also, and among some Hispanic tribes, a lot of the medicine is grass. A lot of the medicine is boil this plant. You know what I mean? Like before I came up here, I wasn't into taking too many pills, but there's bush you could go get, like, you know, what would be normally growing in your backyard, not up here though. I wouldn't touch nothing on the ground up here, Salaki. It will kill you. But, you know, certain areas where you know what's growing in the back there, there's certain vines you could cut and boil it, strain it off, drink the water, and within 24 hours, your fever is gone. You understand? Your congestion is gone. There's things like that. You understand? So just think, with that type of knowledge, you could destroy somebody. You understand? Just like how you use it for good, it could also be used for evil. You understand? Just like with the cocoa leaf. You know, Isupk and I believe Asher also used to use the cocoa leaf for energy. Right? That cocoa leaf, they chew it up all day to get energy. The white man come and get the cocoa leaf, and what does he do with it?
He put chemicals in it.
And then do what with it? He makes cocaine from it. You understand? The same cocoa leaf that was used for, you know, energy and wake you up. You get the point? He make cocaine from it to destroy people. You get the point? So it's the same herb, it's the same thing. All chemicals come from something in life. You understand? Some plant, some extract, some this, that. Same thing that could be used for good is used for evil. You get the point? So it's that same knowledge. And Simeon and Levi would do it to each other. All right? So it's voodoo is false. If you believe in some skull and some blood, some chicken blood. Yeah. You know what I mean? Salaki, that shit ain't real. All right? That shit could never be real. Don't worry about it. All right? Keep reading.
Verse 6. O my soul, come not thou into their secret.
Mm-hmm.
unto the assembly, mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down a wall.
They dig down a wall. Right? In their self-will, they dig down a wall. What does that mean? Read it one more time.
Can. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down a wall.
Right. What is he talking about? Right? Oh, my soul, come not thou into their secret. Meaning he's saying he don't want you to go into their secret. Meaning from being in the islands, right? And some brothers who may be from the south, you know, like New Orleans, where Levi would dwell also. I would say maybe some Simeonites, some Puerto Ricans who know about the Santeria. Where those, what they'll call voodoo priests or witch doctors, where they do their thing. Describe the place to me. Describe what kind of place it is.
Like where those voodoo people do their witchcraft, where they do their...
Where would they do it?
Well, I know some people just do it in cemeteries. Some people might do it in the old wooden shack.
Right? Dark alleys, hidden places, Officer Iolam say. So they're doing their thing somewhere where nobody is. That's why he said, oh, my soul, come not thou into their secret. Right? As Anaya say, in the basement. Right? Because, of course, Levi up here living in the projects with the brothers, he has some basement or some dark apartment. He doing his thing. You all remember, you might have to be a little older for this. There's a horror called Child's Play. I don't know if you remember Child's Play with Chucky the doll. There was a part where they go to some witch doctor. You go in his apartment, brother. Ain't no light coming in there. It's chicken blood and chicken head and all kind of things in there. It's like, what you in there? And you looking around like, what the hell am I doing here? I need to leave. You get the point? Like into their secret means the place where they do it is like, I don't need to be here. Whatever is going on here, I don't need to be a part of this nonsense. Right? Oh, my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. You don't want to be nowhere there. You understand? You don't want to be nowhere there with some, some goat or some chicken getting sacrificed or somebody getting stabbed or somebody had to, collect period blood to do something. All these nonsense that's going on when it's just herbs at work. You understand? He's saying, mine honor, be not thou united. Read from there, Galawan, quickly.
Can. Mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
Right? They dig down a wall. What is that talking about? Anybody knows? Might need a little bit of history for it. Let me see. What is that part talking about? Anybody? Read it one more time, Galon. I'm gonna give it to you for time's sake, all right?
Come on. For in their anger, they sue a man, and in their self-will, they dig down a wall.
Right. All right. I said when Simeon and Levi slew Hamor, I don't know if that's the Hamite name. I ain't really gonna remember his name. But that's it. Arias Judah said, and someone got killed for raping the daughter of Zion. Jacob had 12 sons and 1 daughter. All right. Jacob had 12 sons, 1 daughter. His daughter's name was Dinah, right? Dinah or Diana in the Hebrew. All right. Dinah or Diana in the Hebrew. All right. A Hamite prince raped her, saw her, took her and raped her. This was a time where we was not a huge nation. It was really Jacob, the 12 sons, extended family, you know, the wives, their servants, the brothers, women, Dinah. Wasn't a lot of people. They were living around, they were encompassed by Africans, right? Meaning they were living where there's Hamites all around. And this Hamite took Dinah and raped her, had sex with her, of course, against her will. And then he went to his father, who was this Hamite king, and the Hamite came to Jacob to try to pay a dowry for Dinah. But of course, they knew that this Hamite raped Dinah. Dinah didn't go with this Hamite. Jacob knew that if he did not accept the dowry, and if he sought retaliation, the whole family would be wiped out. So he said, no problem, no problem. Simeon and Levi wanted revenge. They wanted to go kill this Hamite. All right. Jacob told them. Simeon and Levi came to Jacob. They wanted to go kill the Hamite. Jacob said, "No, we ain't gonna do it. That ain't gonna how it work. We're gonna make a deal with them. Being that in our law, we cannot have a marry outside and you have to be circumcised." They told Simeon and Levi told Jacob, if it is they want this to fly, not only the prince, but all their men are going to have to be circumcised like what our culture is. They're going to have to take up our culture and then they'll be allowed to keep our sister. So, of course, the king, you know, the African, he wanted, of course, a daughter of Israel, like anybody on the earth, because we have the best and the finest woman on the planet Earth, every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian woman. He said, all right, no problem. And they all went and circumcised themselves as grown men. As grown men circumcised themselves, a few hundred of them. And while they laying up in their huts in pain, because of course they cutting the foreskin off, they're healing, Simeon and Levi roll through the city and kill everybody, right? Kill everybody because they was angry. So that's what they say, in their anger, they slew a man and dig down a wall, meaning the deal Jacob made kept them protected. It's like they built a wall around the city. Simeon and Levi, because of their anger, they dig the wall down. They threw it down and exposed the whole nation to death. You understand? Now, was Simeon and Levi right for what they did?
Well, so like in the law, it says if you rape someone, they shall be put to death. So, but I mean, they went against their father. So, I mean, I know.
So was they right or was they wrong?
Well, to me, I would say they're right, but I mean, I don't know.
All right. They in the spirit, they were right for what they did. In the spirit, they were right for what they did. They was wrong for going against their father. You understand? They was wrong for subverting their father. Like they pretended to agree with Jacob, but they were setting up the scene to go kill these Africans. You get the point? So they were wrong for, you know, putting Jacob in that position. But in the spirit, brother, they was, you know, full on right. You get the point? Just like Moses. Was Moses right or wrong for killing that Egyptian?
He was right. The Egyptian wanted to kill his brother. So, yeah, he was right.
So, should you go kill East Indian cops who beating your brothers?
Nah.
Why?
Nah, well, it's against the law to kill. Yeah.
Moses was wrong for murdering the Egyptian, but in the spirit, he was right. To want to do something about it is right. The action you take is what could be determined as right or wrong. But you wanting to do something about it, that's just, brother. That's just and right, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to do something about it. Right? Now, if you want to do something about it bad enough, just come to the UPK and we'll point in the right direction. We'll point in the right direction where you can do something about it. You get the point? Simeon and Levi, they subverted their father, brother. And instruments of cruelty was in their habitations. They made them men harm themselves first and then went and fell on them. You understand? Fell on them for their sister Dinah or Diana in the Hebrew, which means justice. Her name means justice. You understand? Justice. And Simeon and them got the justice, but they were wrong for how they did it. You get the point?
Okay.
They were wrong for how they did it. And that's why the Lord said they should not be joined. Read, keep reading.
Cursed be their anger. For it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel.
Right? Cursed be their anger. Right? For it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob. Like the Lord see what these two brothers could do if they come together. You understand? The Lord is able to see what they would do if they would come together. And he was like, we got to make sure these two never lock up. Because if these two lock up, brother, it's a wrap. You understand? What they would do to not only, you know, our enemies, but those amongst us and then themselves, it's let them stay separate. So Simeon and Levi are brethren, and they stay on that island as if they're enemies. And that's what the Lord wanted in the last days. You get the point?
Okay.
All right? In the last days, that's Simeon and Levi. So we're going to stop there. We're going to stop there for now. And we're going to pick up again next week. We're going to pick up again next week. We're going to try it again at 6. And see how it goes, all right? If not, we'll just move it all the way back to 7, all right?
All right, fine.
All right, no sweat. You'll just hold all the questions for next week. Where's the brother? Jeffrey? Brother Jeffrey from Netherlands. Make sure and send me that email to that email again, brother, all right? Don't forget, brother Jeffrey, that email that I sent you, there's a dot between it, Mashak, M-A-S-H-A-K dot Mayam, M-A-Y-A-M, at hotmail.com. Please make sure and send me that email there, all right? All right, with that, shalom. We're going to pick up next week. Shalom.
Shalom, Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Kathah.
Yahweh Shem Shabbat Katham. Yahweh Shem Atah, Shem Yahweh Shai.